So, in a world where most people get cancer someday, one Scotsman has it today, and he'll fight for his freedom from cancer. Paint your face blue, get into the chemo. Was that good?
That worked really well. Let's try the real beginning now.
Okay. In a world where most people get cancer someday, one man chooses to have cancer every day. Get ready for the feel-good chemo story of the year.
Very nice, my friend.
That's my Don LaFontaine imitation.
For those who don't know who Don LaFontaine is, he is that famous movie voice. In a world.
Yeah, he's dead though.
He is dead, but we all go eventually.
So, if anybody needs to hire me instead of him, if you can't get a hold of Don, call me.
How's it going?
Pretty good, actually.
I have
pretty
a hat
good.
too, by the way.
You have a hat too. It looks nice.
Thank you. I got it from this friend of mine who has one ball.
Why does your hat not have two balls on it, though?
That cost more. And the seamstress ran out of pink thread.
That'd explain it. You had to go, I guess too bad they don't deliver those caps. You had to go all the way to Switzerland to get it?
Yeah, that was very, very complicated. I just wanted a hat, and it ended up costing me thousands of dollars to go to La Suisse.
Yes, as we said in the last episode, you would be coming to Switzerland. You have come to Switzerland. People might not believe it, though, because we're not in the same room for this episode like we promised we would be.
Yes. And the main reason is because we were going to do that, but while you were struggling with cancer, I was struggling with cheese.
Cheese cancer, as we called it.
You were on chemo, I was on chiso. So the day we were supposed to record this, I was lying in bed, crying over my overstuffed belly filled with delicious Swiss cheese.
Exactly, and I was just looking over you and frowning, saying, what's he going to be like when he has cancer?
I'm probably going to die day one.
We did, however, record something of us in the same room that will appear on this channel at some point.
We made a little special episode for you.
Exactly, a sort of interview of me. It's not quite a normal episode, which is why we haven't edited it yet, but it'll come soon at some point.
It's not very funny because your funny bone wasn't tickling that day.
I thought my funny bone always tickled.
Although I did tell you it was a sort of a serious interview, so took it very seriously.
Well, yeah, you said we were doing a David Frost, Richard Nixon interview.
Yeah.
So I just, I took it with a lot of gravitas, and I bugged a few hotels before we started. Got lots of info on those other chemo podcasters.
Uh-huh.
And I hope they won't get elected again next year.
You are not a crook. That's a reference that two people will get, and they're both dead.
I'm one of them.
Not to turn this podcast political, but while I was in Switzerland, the most neutral country in the world, a war broke out.
But not in Switzerland.
No, this is true. The real war. The other war. The Russian one.
So that was fun. Thanks for telling us about that.
No, the reason why is... I was just going to say the reason is because it feels really weird to focus on how fun we were having when people were dying right down the street, aka in Ukraine.
That's true. And now here you are making all this political when everybody wanted to just forget about their everyday problems and think about cancer. And now they're thinking about war instead.
I mean, war is the cancer of the world.
Ooh. So you're saying we need to send chemo to Ukraine?
NATO. It's pronounced differently. I think the main thing you need during a nuclear holocaust is primarily a bunker, sunscreen number 6,000, and some very big goggles.
Well, that's just weird. In Switzerland, pretty much every house has a bunker in it.
The cave?
Underneath the basement, which most people use to keep their wine in now. So in Switzerland, if we do have to go hide in the bunkers, I don't know how long people will last, but they'll be drunk for the whole time.
That is very nice.
So it could be worse, I guess.
It's a good way to die.
There won't be any food. It'll just be wine.
There's probably some cheese there.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, your mom cleared out your parents' cave while I was there, and she found, among other things, Jimmy Hoffa. Everything was in there.
That is true. She did take advantage of cleaning out the cellar and told us a lot about it.
Yes, but it was very pleasant. Hi, Anne-Marie and Larry and Kevin and everyone else. Marianne, Camille, Reto, Nicolas, Reza, Nils, Audrey, everyone. That was more names that I've remembered in my life.
That's not bad. Yeah, because you were here for it wasn't just a short trip. You were here for 10 days.
I was.
I was quite happy because I hadn't really planned anything when you came, since I didn't exactly know how good I'd be feeling 3-4 days after the last round of chemo. And we ended up doing a ton of stuff.
Yes.
Mostly eating.
We ate a lot. I've been detoxing since I came. I've been back for about a week and a half.
Yeah.
And I've just had intravenous fluids, and I've burped cheese burps constantly, belching, that is. And one of the side effects to your chemo is that you belch.
I do indeed.
And while I was there, it became like a thing where every time you belched, I would say, Joseph Edward, to quote your mother. But now I've had to say it to myself every time I cheese belch back home in Norway.
Do you have a middle name?
Not a first name, like I have two surnames.
That's weird.
No, it's both your parents.
Oh, it's not because you were married once and then decided to keep her name.
I'm Louis the Eighth, Richard the Fourth. Who's the one who killed all his wives?
Yeah, that guy.
No, but my middle name is Hage, Haga, which means garden in Norwegian.
Okay, Hog.
Hag.
So you should put it the other way around and you'd be Andreas Enehaug Hog.
Ah, this is true. This is very true.
It sounds like you're stuttering. But so yeah, we were here, and as I said, I was not 100% sure how good I would be feeling. You told me you didn't really care. You were just here to see me, which was oh so sweet. And mostly didn't have too many medical problems, except for, I guess, one.
Yeah, you had a dental thing.
Exactly. I had some kind of an abscess on my teeth, probably due to the fact that I'm sort of weaker because of chemo. So yeah, I had probably due to the fact that I was a weaker immune system because of the chemo. I got a big abscess behind a tooth, which went pretty quickly. I was in a lot of pain, as you saw. Mm-hmm. And you had dinner with my mom while I sort of yelped in my room.
That was the first time I felt like a dad. I was like, damn teenager in his room whining while we're trying to have a cozy dinner.
But luckily for me, I was able to see a dentist very quickly. And I mean, they gave me antibiotics, which made the swelling go down pretty quick. Mm-hmm. And then I had a root canal, which was nice. Always, and then felt better. I still have another dental appointment next week, but basically, luckily for me, the actual very painful bit was only for a night, basically.
And then you stuffed your face with more food.
Well, yeah, we did, because I took you. You were lucky the weather was pretty nice here, so we were able to sort of drive around all over. It was nice having you as my personal driver.
That's always good. A cheese-stuffed Norwegian bastard on the roads.
Well, because I don't even have a license, so you were able to take my mom's car, and I think you know the roads around here better than I do now.
I do. The exit to whatever is right down the street.
That proves you know what you're talking about.
No, it was very pleasant. I strongly advise anyone and everyone to go to Switzerland. Eat less cheese than I did, but a respectable amount.
So other than the food, what was your favorite thing about being here? Other than seeing me, of course.
Well, it was mainly the people. How can I answer anything else? But in terms of just practical views, I really enjoyed everything. I mean, we went to I made a postcard. Most of you have probably seen it, but we'll add it to the end of this episode. I made a little digital postcard from our stay or my stay in Switzerland.
Pretty much everybody I know who saw it says they cried at the end.
That's nice. That's what I tried to do. Was it because it was fade to black and they really wanted to hear more? Is that why they cried?
No, just because they thought you were oh so sweet and such a wonderful filmmaker and so nice and so loving and such a good friend. And yeah, a bunch of lies like that.
I apologize for crapping on your thunder. This was supposed to be your cancer journey, and then I'm like, oh, look at me, I'm so sweet.
Nah, people knew you were a sweet bastard.
But yeah, no, it was very pleasant. I got to meet all your friends, very nice people. You know who you are.
That wasn't all of them. I have others too.
Yes, but I'm saving them for trip number 2.
Everybody's already been asking when you're coming back. I said for the funeral.
Fuck me. Ah, Christ. I mean, if they all chip in, and buy my ticket, I can come and stay more or less indefinitely.
I bet my friend Niels could convince you to come over without even having to pay, and you'd pay for your own ticket if he promises you more rum.
This is true. We went to visit your Swedish-Swiss friend who served no less than 20 different type of rums on a Monday.
On a Monday. I only had one, though, because I'm allowed to drink alcohol, but it's not recommended to, like, go overboard, so I figured 20 rums is probably considered overboard, so I had one.
He also served bugs and foie gras and scallops and ice cream and côte de boeuf. And this was all on a Monday.
With one of the nicest views on the chatel from his apartment.
Imagine what our Tuesday was like, considering that was the Monday.
More or less just lying on a bed and groaning.
Yeah. It was 12 years since the last time I had been to Switzerland.
It didn't feel like it. It felt like I'd seen you the day before, and after 2 days, I wanted you to get the hell out of there already.
That's funny.
Because it's true.
I think we've subconsciously started making less references. So in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Okay, Mr. Truman.
It's me, Harry S. Truman, and his show.
So let's just make the references even more complicated so nobody gets them. Somebody might have understood that one. Good save. Good save. I want to say carry on.
Wayward Son?
No, because like Jim Carrey.
Oh, see, I made it different. I've been listening to a band you introduced me to. A band called The Dead South, which is a bluegrass country western band from California.
I wonder if I could nickname my old testicle the Dead South, because
That'd be nice.
it used to be down south and now it's dead.
I'm sure they'd like that. Anyway, I've listened a lot to them, mainly because my two favorite songs, That Bastard Son, which is you, and Broken Cowboy, which is also, you.
That's some good Western music, modern Western music from California.
Anywho, this is supposed to be a cancer podcast, and we've referred to cancer almost nada.
I still have it, though.
You do have it. You're a stayer. You're a keeper. But you've just completed the second round of either 2, 3, or 4 rounds of chemo, right?
Well, exactly. Right about 2-3 days after you left, I went back into the hospital on a Wednesday for round 2 of this new chemo called a TIP, the TIP protocol, TIP.
Just tip.
And so it's a TIP. Exactly. I'll just have the TIP. So it's the same as 3 weeks ago, right before you got here. 3 days of chemical injections, then 2 days of just hydration. So I went in on the Wednesday, and it was quite funny. The nurse recognized me from about 50 yards away down the hall. She's like, "Hey, Mr. Barnes." And I was like, "Yeah, you..." But it was the hat.
Ah, nice.
I was wearing the hat, which I wear everywhere now.
Nice.
And so it was quite nice. I got brought to my hospital room, and this time I really know the drill. So I get there and I open my bag, and I put in my extension cord here to plug in my computer, and I put my book here because it's the closest place, put my Nintendo Switch in this spot, I pull the light down, I sort of know everything to make it perfect. It took me about 3 minutes to set up while the neighbor sort of looked at me, wondered why I was such a whirlwind of action, so to speak. So that was quite nice getting set up, and it is nice that practically all the nurses are people I know now since I spent 3 weeks there in January, February. So I know everybody, and I had a good laugh. I had a good neighbor this time, I guess one could say, because he mostly stuck to himself. Mm-hmm. He looked like, I think I told you that, he looked like Jonathan Pryce, the actor.
Yes.
But I thought maybe Jonathan Pryce, the actor, playing a Serbian war criminal who for some reason is in a hospital in Switzerland. But the guy, other than plotting like genocide, he stuck to himself.
Okay.
He just had his iPad and did stuff, and it didn't bother me at all. We spoke like twice a day. He would wake up in the morning, look at me and say, "Let's see what Putin's done," and then turn on the TV and not say another word all day.
Are you sure he was Serbian and not Russian? And I know that has nothing to do with each other, but...
I don't know. I think actually when I said it to you, I said East Bloc country to just not be too specific.
Okay.
Because, I don't want to piss anybody off with my cancer stories.
That ship has long sailed, my friend.
It was funny one night, though, because I was sitting there in my bed watching a TV show, and I guess he was watching TV next to him, and at 11:30, I took my earphones out to go to bed, and I noticed he had fallen asleep, and there was an erotic movie on the TV in the room.
Nice.
So that was kind of weird. I turned it off. I didn't watch it.
But how you feeling?
Well, pretty good. So the chemo started again. 'Cause that was sort of just the niceties of the hospital I've been talking about. The chemo started again on the Wednesday. Felt 100% fine. And then exactly like last time on day 2, started getting the side effects. A pretty strong metallic taste in my mouth. The belches you spoke about earlier came back with a vengeance. A little bit trouble eating, but not for very long. But I skipped a meal. I think basically.
Cheese?
And nah, they didn't serve me any cheese in the hospital this time, I think.
Smart.
But so the Thursday and Friday I wasn't feeling great. You can feel the effect of these products. But again, still pretty lucky, I think, because it was nothing debilitating. The main thing, again, is that I spent my 3 days in the hospital peeing, because as you know, they fill me up with water. I got there on the Wednesday. 24 hours later, I weighed 4.5 kilos more.
That's a lot of water.
And that was just water. And so I had to evacuate it as well. So I spent a lot of time peeing, which is always fun.
You're taking a piss, aren't you?
I'm taking a piss. I did have a visit. You remember my fake ball?
Yeah, of course.
This guy that my friends made for me, prosthetic. So I also go everywhere with it, basically, to the hospital because I figure it'll make nurses laugh. And so one of the nurses asked me actually to show it to her again because she had seen it last time. So I could show it to her and a new nurse who hadn't seen it. They thought this was hilarious. Then they said, can we borrow it to go scare our boss?
Wow.
So then they left down the hall with my balls and I guess shoved them in someone's face.
Nice.
Which is the first time, I think, ever that someone else has put my balls in someone's face.
Yeah, that's a first for most people. Did they tell you about the reaction or the prank or the joke or the whatever?
They said she laughed. They said she laughed a lot.
She laughed.
It was a boss nurse. A woman boss, I mean. Yeah.
A bossy nurse. A nursey boss.
So far, no bossy nurses. They were all great, as usual. I did have another a visit from a friend of mine that, we actually saw when we went out, like the day before you went home or 2 days before, we went out to a nice restaurant and then we went out for a drink and I spoke with a girl in front for a while and who I hadn't seen for quite a while. And so she came to visit me in the hospital.
Nice.
And the thing is, then she was in there and I said, "Oh, you want to see my fake balls?" And she sort of went, "Yeah." And so I pulled these out and showed them to her and she had a very weird reaction. I was like, "Oh, you can touch them." And she was like, "Yeah, I'm good." And then her question was, "But how do you put them on?" And I was like, what do you mean? And then I realized she thought
it was real.
She had no idea that people had made me this. So when I said fake ball, she thought I meant my prosthetic ball.
Well, it does look real.
So she actually, but she actually thought that somehow
Don't drop your
I dropped
balls.
my balls on the floor.
Don't drop your balls.
I dropped the balls on that one.
Oh.
And so, she thought these were my prosthetic ones that somehow I had to
Attach,
I guess, with this nice little ribbon around my penis or something. I don't know.
That would be like a great cut the red wire or the green wire type of situation.
She was much more up for touching them when she understood what they actually were, though.
Yeah, so she had a pretty normal reaction. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, one could say that exactly.
Still funny, though.
Then I came out. I was supposed to stay until Sunday. They actually let me out on Saturday because I'm so good at chemo that I finished early.
The chemo champion.
No, it's basically because the last days anyway is just me rehydrating, and they know that they can trust that I'm going to drink the 2 liters of water a day they say to drink and that they can count on it. So they let me go home and felt pretty well. Pretty good. I had still those same side effects, a little bit of belching, but didn't cut my appetite at all.
All right.
I ate a ton. I came out of the hospital and had a Subway and then 2 crepes.
One savory and one sweet?
Absolutely. Just like us. I'll let people guess who's the sweet one. Spoiler alert, neither of us. We're not even savory either. We're actually rather unsavory.
We're bitter.
It's an unsavory pair of bitter bastards.
Bitter bastards.
Something like that.
I was just going to say, we spent the majority of my stay in Switzerland speaking poor Scottish to each other.
Yes, I don't really know why that tends to happen. We were speaking like this, and we're not even very good at doing the Scottish accent.
Well, you slip in and out of a Beatles thing. Oh, the Beatles, over here eating cheesy. And we were playing Mario Kart and eating melted cheese thingies, because that's what adult people do.
Exactly. Grilled cheese sandwiches my mom made us
Yes,
in front of the TV.
jaffles. If you haven't tried a jaffle, you haven't been alive. Anyway, while we were playing like two 8-year-olds, we were basically having this Scottish argument.
The bastard hit me with a blue shell. Oh dear.
I'm gonna drive like a warrior poet for the fields of Bannockburn! Freedom! Mario Kart! It was stuff like that, and your mother found it very amusing. I also think she considered calling a mental institution at some point.
But I mean, the line between amusing and needs to be in a mental institute is pretty fine.
In our case, it's finer than fine. It's fine. Anyway, we were talking about cancer, weren't we? The chemo.
Well, yeah, since I came out, I was just saying that all I did was eat. On Sunday, my good friend Camille took me to lunch, to a ladies' lunch with some other ladies and me.
Okay.
And I was hesitating. Should I have the steak or should I have the fish? And she said, well, have both. So I did.
I like it.
I did too. It hit the spot perfectly. Then this early week, I've been quite tired. I've slept a lot and laid down a lot. But I now mostly the effects are gone. I think the side effects. Mm-hmm. I'm feeling pretty good. I went out to play some pétanque in the sun yesterday. Some balls. Mm-hmm. I'm probably going to go do the same this afternoon.
Throwing some balls around. All right. So when I was
Throw
there,
some balls around.
We had your friend Celine shave your head. Cecile, sorry. My bad, Cecile. And then at some point you could pull your mustache out.
Well, yeah, I showed you that. Because I still had a mustache, as you say. Then my friend Cecile did the hairstyles like we did 6 months ago. Uh-huh. Not quite as much variety because I had much less hair, so she couldn't go all crazy on it. And basically then shaved everything off except for the mustache. And I realized I could literally just pull the mustache out. It was 100% painless, didn't feel a thing. And but I still left it, and that's why during my week of hospital, like half my mustache fell out.
Okay.
I could just see every day it was slightly less full. I'd find hairs on my mobile phone all the time. And what was weird though is the dark hairs seemed to fall out faster than the white hair, because I don't know, all the dark ones fell out first on the sides. And although I still had a full mustache, it was starting to look like a Hitler mustache.
So chemo is turning you into Hitler.
Possibly.
All right, but you have your eyebrows, as far as I can see.
Yeah, I never lost them last time, so I might not lose them this time. Although the chemo definitely made my hair fall out much faster this time.
Okay.
Because last time I cut it off, and I only really noticed it after following. It was probably at least after the second round of chemo. Maybe third. This came a lot faster, I think. And I could feel it. I could feel in my head, even though when I shaved it, I could feel my head itching, which is what it did last summer as well, my guess is that's the hair deconnecting from your scalp or something. I don't know.
Okay.
What do I know?
Is it itching now?
Mostly not. It's, I think, stopped now. No, it's not too bad right now.
Are you also saying that the eyebrows come from a different hair department on your body?
I don't know. They did tell me when I asked last year, they said some people lose them, some people don't. So it's sort of all bets are off on what exactly you're going to lose.
If you lose them, are you going to do that stupid girl thing of drawing on eyebrows that makes every woman look like a scarecrow?
No. I'm not.
Good call.
I already tried that when I lost my testicle. I tried drawing on the second one. Didn't look good. Very unbelievable.
There's that belching again.
I did it just for you.
Joseph Edward.
That's why they call me Raquel. Raquel Belch. Once again, with the hip, up-to-date references.
So the other day, I was at a bar down the street because it was very sunny, and I met a few friends, and then another friend, a girlfriend of the girl, came, and she taught me something about cancer, which was very interesting. And as soon as she was saying it, I said, I have to write that down. I have to do research because I have to take it up on my cancer podcast. And she was like, you're what? I have a podcast.
That's got to make their panties drop.
And she was like, I need another drink. This is awkward. I'm like, no. I have a cancer podcast with my friend who has cancer. And she's like, this is the worst way to come on to me I've ever heard. Anyway,
She probably thought you were about to say, want me to check your breasts for lumps or something?
yes. For the record, though, I wasn't trying to come onto her. I was just having a conversation. But she was talking about HPV, the HPV virus. Does it ring a bell to you?
Nothing to do with HP sauce, I guess. Right?
Mostly that, yeah. If you pour yourself with HP sauce, you get cancer. No, HPV is see, I'm gonna mess this up because I'm gonna say it in layman's terms. I won't have the right medical mumbo jumbo, but
I think people are used to that now on this show.
yes, it's the main reason for cervical cancer, which is the downstairs area of a lady, the female version of testicle cancer.
So you're saying don't go shopping at HMV or you get cervical cancer? Is that it? HMV?
I'm saying that this is H&M. What is HMV? Is that the old record store thingy?
It is. His master's voice.
HPV, cervical cancer, is a huge thing for women, and it's a killer. And apparently, you get cervical cancer from men, and women are being offered a vaccine sort of thing towards HPV, but men can also do it. So this lady, who I spoke to, she didn't have cervical cancer, by the way, but she was saying she found out about it last year. I found out about it the other day when she told me. Basically, men all over the world can take that vaccine in order to limit the amount of cervical cancer for women. And this is something that no one knows about.
And let me take a guess. People don't want to get vaccinated?
There's probably some anti-vaxxers out there, but I just found it interesting that this is such a huge problem for women, the fact that cervical cancer happens quite often. Same case as testicular cancer for men. The only difference is that men get testicular cancer on their own, but women get cervical cancer from men. And I was trying the joke, maybe you should just stay away from men. And she was like, that's not the point, you moron. And I was like, yeah, right. Cock blocked
She had been
myself.
smart. That would have been her cue to say, yes, I'm going to stay away from you right now. And then she would have turned around and left.
This is true. This is very true.
But so how do we give it to them?
The old bedroom way.
Oh, you mean when we're giving it to them?
But yeah, no, obviously I don't know anything. I asked my father, the doctor, because I wanted some info, and he said, I'm blind. I don't work as a doctor anymore. What would I know? Do some proper research. He didn't say that. He sort of said that. So for the next episode, I will do more research, but I found it interesting. So I'm supposed to say, getting the HPV vaccine is cool, guys.
So get the HPV vaccine and also remember to touch your balls and look for lumps.
Yeah, that's also true. Everywhere and anywhere.
Exactly.
And I've had a lot of people who spoke to, or I've spoken to a lot of people since I came back because they saw the postcard and they were like, "Oh, you look like you had so much fun with your friend Joseph. What cancer does he have?" And then I told them, and just to turn the dials back, the main reason why you found it out is because you went to the doctor for back pain, right?
That's why I went, exactly.
And how long have you had felt back pain up to that point?
About 2-3 months, I guess.
2-3 months.
Yeah, about that, something like that. And about a month and a half, it had gotten really bad.
All right.
But basically, pretty much exactly a year ago is when the back pain started, more or less. And then on the 23rd of June is when I found out about the cancer. So I'd say about a year ago.
Did anyone say anything about this being normal to spread from the testicles to the back?
Well, yeah, the spread I have is pretty typical of, absolutely, of testicular cancer. It goes up to the lymph nodes along your spine by your aorta, and then it goes to the lungs, and then it sort of has a pretty known progression, I believe. And there's nothing special about mine.
But in theory, you could have gone to the doctor earlier with your back pain.
I could have gone to the doctor earlier with my back pain, indeed. I guess I should have. Had I gone earlier, we might not even had a podcast.
But if I had gone to the doctor with back pain, there wouldn't be any point in them looking for cancer, would it? Well, how did that happen?
The doctors thought it might be something with my kidneys, but I also did have a slightly oversized testicle, slightly heavier testicle, which I had noticed 2-3 months before, and sort of forgot about because of the back pain. So I then said, when he was going to look into my kidneys or what else it could be, I had said, by the way, there's also my one testicle that might be slightly off, and that's when he immediately looked at it and pretty much immediately said, "Okay, we're gonna do ultrasound and a scan."
All right, so many questions. Question number one, why did he think it was a kidney thing?
Well, he wasn't sure. This was just the doctor that I went in to see, testing various things. And because of the area where I had my pain, which I said as my back, was actually also near the kidneys. So he thought it could be me thinking it's back pain, but actually be kidney pain.
Uh-huh.
He thought it could be. He didn't think that very long.
And if you hadn't mentioned, oh, by the way, my bowel is acting up, then in theory, this could have been unnoticed for longer. You would have just been a guy with a sore back.
I doubt it would have been unknown for that long, because I think they would have done all the tests. I probably did speed things up that way a little bit, because then I had the test the next day, the ultrasound set up. So I probably sped things up a bit, but I would imagine they would have figured it out pretty quickly.
So when we say to you people, check your balls for irregularities or size differences or lumps or anything, we mean it.
We do indeed. It could save a life, possibly yours.
And yeah, and get the HPV vaccine as well, because we're expanding to make this a gender fluid Ballcast.
That could be like the subtitle of the show.
Yes.
Having a ball, a gender fluid ballcast.
Should we drop the ball?
Well, I think we are getting to the end of this episode. I've got petanque to play, since it's so nice out.
Cool beans. Joseph, my friend, enjoy scratching your bald head. Enjoy throwing some bald balls. Eat some cheese, have some fun, and I'll see you soon.
I'll do that, and we'll be back soon with a new episode, and possibly with our special episode in between. Who knows?
It will show up pretty soon.
And remember, everybody watching us, like, subscribe, share. Why not?
We mean it this time.
We do. It's good for my health.
It is. You see, he becomes more chipper the more viewers we have.
Oh, every time I get the little ding on my phone that says you got a new comment or you got a new subscriber, I literally feel a tumor disappearing.
All right. It's been a pleasure. We're having a ball as always.
Yep. And see you soon, Andreas. See you soon, everybody watching, and touch your balls.
See you soon, people. When I write you these postcards, it's snippets at best. I jot down some rhymes, I brag and I jest. Still, this trip was special, as you're about to see, because I arrived as a friend, and I left as family. That might be the cheesiest thing I ever have said, or the most beautiful thing you've ever read. Let me show you what 10 days of magic can do if you surround yourself with people who love you. So I flew down to Switzerland in order to see my old friend Joseph, who calls me Little Dickie, and I'm telling you now what a visit it's been. Quite frankly, I don't know where to begin. He lives in a small town called Neuchâtel, so it's understandable if you don't know it very well. It's a beautiful place, though, I really must say, with a lake down in front and the Alps on display. They have Lego-like castles and gas station booths. There's cheese vending machines and spectacular views. We checked out the sights and we toured all around. It truly is easy to fall in love with this town. We drank liters of coffee and gallons of wine. We tapped all types of beer. I think I tried 9. We joked like the old days. We laughed, we had fun. We strolled through the streets in the warm springtime sun. Joe also showed me this unique place. It was magic, unorthodox, and hey, there's my face. I have to single out Joe's mom, Anne-Marie, the most generous woman you'll ever see. She was so nice throughout, and she cooked like a god. Magic pancakes, heavenly jaffles, and tasty charbonnade. But also raclette and filet mignon en croûte. The fried chicken, the cheesy hot dogs, everything was a hoot. Then there is Larry, the Canadian pickles champ, the king of all dad jokes that'll make you laugh till you cramp. And finally Kevin, a planning extraordinaire, the man who introduced me to the town of Gruyere. But that wasn't all, his schedule was tight. Everything he showed us was an endless delight. We saw Chaplin's World in Charlie's old home, and there were no other guests, so we could freely roam. Maybe the coolest museum I've ever seen, and one of the most picturesque places I've ever been. At H.R. Geiger's exhibit, we enjoyed art from space, a mesmerizing and creative slap in the face. We had more cheese, of course, and toured a chocolate factory, a dream I've literally had since I was tiny. Then vineyards and tasting and a new beautiful view, my fondness for La Suisse undoubtedly grew. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Joseph's friends, the type of people where the laughter never ends. They were hospitable, graceful, and incredibly sweet. Spending time with this gang was an endless treat. We drove to Bern and saw the Swiss-German Part 2, all topped off with an ocean of fondue. Oh, did I mention the food? It was crazy from day one. I know this is ridiculous, but I think we ate a ton. From delicious foie gras to exquisite escargot, it was like being the host of a cooking show. I mean, we had lobster, tartare, and double cream. The absinthe meringue also tasted like a dream. There was joy, constant laughter, and a number of hugs. One night, I had 20 different rums, and I even tried bugs. I'm grateful for everything we managed to do. Now, after my food coma, I'll be ready for round 2. And finally, to Joe's cancer, I say please go away. I absolutely, positively need my brother to stay. I love you, my friend, and the Barnes clan too. Merci, dankjewel, tusen tak, and thank you. Until next time, your buddy, old pal, Andreas.